because I refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their gilt rings. Right, the bouncers' gilt rings.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day.
Oscar Bevis, IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Blast. Kalle Sauerland joins me. Well, Kalle, a really good night of boxing. And of course, Lyndon, a long night of boxing, a 12-fight card, yeah. Of course, the main bit, Lyndon Arthur done his job after what would have been a very stressful 24 hours for him and everyone involved.
Yeah, I mean, Lyndon's quite a cool guy, so I don't think it was too stressful for him. He was obviously disappointed, but I don't think he realised how close it was to having to pull the whole thing. And Nissa and my brother done a great job in finding the late replacement who just happened to be training for a fight next week. So, you know, worked perfectly. He was in great nick. I've got to say, Boris the Blade, he made a name for himself tonight, especially the first few rounds. Very cagey, and, you know, Lyndon obviously didn't know much about him, so he had to, the first few rounds to just look at him. And I'll probably let him on the scorecards, had Boris the Blade nicking 1, 2, 3 of the first 3 rounds actually. So, but then Lyndon came on, he started throwing the hands looser, and then, you know, strong finish, you know, the way he took him down in the last round. And, you know, we march on. World title in May, had that confirmed yesterday by the board. So yeah, world title shot in May, and then see where we go from there.
Yeah, I spoke to Lyndon immediately after, and he said, I still want to get my hands on that IBO. Obviously, I know there will be kind of things to clear up. Will it be the IBO? Will it be Suarez still potentially, or is it the IBO regardless? Because is there still things? Could he still fight over here if things are cleared up, Suarez?
That's something that we'll find out next week from them, and you know who we have to fight. So yeah, next few days, you know, maybe in the next week or 10 days. But for tonight, we enjoy the victory. He got 10 good rounds in the bank as well, I'd say, which is good. He's active, you know. He was out when was out December on the Josh Kelly card. Tonight, headlining, first time on Channel 5, which is fantastic. And yeah, he'll have good eyeballs tonight, and we'll march on and grab that world title. And as I said, lots of names: Boazzi, Dan Aziz, Anthony Yard. You know, so many interesting names at that weight domestically. Although that domestic scene for me is on an international level.
I've just been speaking to Ridgeway about this actually. There's been so much talk about viewing numbers and platforms over the last week, 2 weeks, and you were trending #1 in the UK. So I think that says quite a lot.
Yeah, I know. Ridge, that's our king of social media, by the way. We call him Ridge, the man of the North, king of the North. But, yeah, I never quite understand this trending thing, but he's very excited about it, and I'm very excited about it because he's excited about it. So
it means a lot of people are taking an interest.
We're trending, yeah, baby. I don't know what does that pay me something? Is it like, you know, take it out of the bank, or is it just can boast about it?
I don't think you can monetize it, but I think it means that you can boast about Channel 5 and your platform on IFL.
We are trending people, learning every day.
Kalle, just a couple of other things I want to talk about. KSI, the fight with Joe Fournier, was announced. With so many opportunities kind of outside, very switch. With the amount of different opportunities kind of in the influencer circle there are, is it a bit of a risk for KSI to go and fight Joe Fournier, who has a fighting background?
Yeah, but, you know, he's the man who's boxing. So I had some other ideas, and you know, you know, Mams did as well, and you know, I know, yeah, JJ, KSI, he wants that fight, he wants to do that, and yeah, you're absolutely right, it is a risk, and you know, but he's also a man who's succeeded in everything that he's taken on. So, who might, you know, 2 fights in one night, all the different things that we've done around Misfits. You know, I've got to say, I can't claim the ideas. I've just looked on in amazement the things they pull off, and KSI is that sort of character that everything he takes on in his life, he seems to, you know, he said, I saw an interview recently where he said, look, I'm not talented, it's just hard work. I put into everything he does, and that includes boxing. Everywhere he goes, it's all about grinding and the grind, and he trains like a professional the whole time. Incredible the way he travels with the trainers and sparring partners. So, Joe Fournier, May 13th, that's the next stop, and I've got no doubt that my man does it.
I can't help but think it's perhaps a little dig at Jake Paul to get a pro boxer on the CV.
Yeah, look, they're having digs at each other all the time. That's that space, isn't it? I mean, it's also in the boxing world that we have people having a pop at each other. It's just that they have, I don't know, 3-figure million followers, so it's slightly larger. It becomes a whole political discussion. But yeah, they have jabs at each other all the time. I mean, Jake Paul should be eating humble pie at the moment, but he's not. In this space, you don't seem to eat humble pie. You just keep on blagging it, and whatever. I mean, he's just lost. He should be quiet, come back, have a win, and then he can talk again. But in the meantime, I'd be staying off social media. But he's doing the opposite. They work in different ways.
That is that world all over. I can't believe we got through this week without mentioning the Chris Eubank Conor Benn situation. So just kind of have to finish on that. When was the last time you spoke to Chris, and what sort of headspace is he in? Because I know there's a bit of talk from Liam Smith this week. The Conor thing's always going to be there. When did you last speak to Chris, and kind of how is he at the moment?
No, I spoke to Chris earlier this week. He's in Vegas. He's training. He's always training.
Has he got itchy knuckles?
Stops training. He's got very itchy knuckles, and very set on that Smith fight. But of course, we've got Conor Benn floating around in the background for some time as well. We're trying to work out the Smith fight at the moment. I think they've found that we've reached an agreement. Their side have reached an agreement with Smith. Now, we got some I's to dot and some T's to cross. Sure we'll make it work, but it's not quite there yet. So that's why it's not announced. Yeah, but Chris wants that fight, so that's a fight that that I think you'll see next. Is the Conor Benn one interesting? Of course it is. Of course it is. Right? So I wouldn't be asked in every single interview for the last 6 months: is that fight postponed? Is it rescheduling, etc., etc. Well, now we all know that it is possible. So will we see it? I don't expect so. Now that the Undisputed isn't on, I do think it's one of the biggest fights of the year. So, I'm sure you'll see it at some point, but we'll see when that is.
And would you expect that to be now for September? Obviously, we're presuming Conor's going to fight June the 3rd, I think it is, or sometime in June. So that would be a fight perhaps for September, October then?
Look, like I said, first of all, we've got to find an agreement on those final pieces around the Smith puzzle. And then we'll look from there.
Just one more thing. Would you have a preference in terms of, even kind of with a fan hat on, of who you would rather see Conor fight if the two choices were Manny Pacquiao or Kell Brook?
For Conor Benn?
Yeah. I mean, both interesting fights.
Probably Kell Brook. Yeah. I think Manny's had his day. Probably be more interested to watch Kell Brook. I don't know. Just my hunch. Yeah.
Right, brilliant, Kalle. Thanks for giving me some of your time, and just kind of a final word on what's been a really good week.
Ask very interesting questions. You've got me thinking. It's 1 a.m. here? Yeah, good questions.
Refuse to not be first.
Do we do enough? Well, I never shut up about it.
It must have been about 16, 17. We nicked their guilt rings. Right, the bouncer's guilt ring.
This is no good for me. That's the reality. If you want the honest truth, and I see it every day,